So here we go. Hi, I'm Bob Walker. Welcome to our Yat Chat for tonight. Tonight we have a very special guest. Oh, yeah. If you like doo-wop music, we're talking one of the pioneers here, rock and roll and American Bandstand and everything. Uh, Founding and original member of Danny and the Juniors. He's still going to the hop. Here he is, Frank Maffei. Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Bob? How's my favorite DJ in my favorite city?
Oh, yeah. You like to come down here and get those crawfish, huh, from Alan Yeager.
Oh man, I sure do. Best food, red beans and rice,
Mm-hmm.
shrimp etouffee,
Yes, indeed.
gumbo.
Uh-huh. We got it all.
Oh
So,
man, do you ever?
yeah. Let me give people a little background on where we first crossed paths with each other and had a life-bound connection after that. I first met Frank when Danny and the Juniors were playing a gig in Fat City at a place called the Front Page. You remember that?
I sure do. That was a very nice place, that front page.
Great
And,
venue. Hmm.
and we worked there a few times, and we also worked at Sancho Panza in Fat City.
I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
know Sancho had live entertainment. I mean, I knew they had no local bands, but I didn't know they brought in superstars from Philadelphia.
oh yeah, they did. And I'll tell you something. That Fat City in those days, it was unbelievable. It
Yeah.
was just a section where it was nothing but nightlife and people having a good time, partying, going from place to place, restaurants, bars. It was great.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. What did happen?
Well, it got old like anything else, but
Yeah.
it never closed. You talk about New York City, how it used to be, the city that never sleeps. I tell
Oh
you,
yeah.
that
All night
city
long.
never slept either.
Because after we were done at night, we would go to Fat Jimmy's,
That Jimmy's.
and we would hang out there all night and shoot pool and listen to music and drink.
Well, of course, you had to drink to go to Fat City. That was a prerequisite.
Well, that's I think that might be a prerequisite in New Orleans.
Yes, it is everywhere you go. I tell you what, that Fat Page was a fun place for sure. A really classic place. Let's see, they had Dion there, and they had Bobby Rydell, one of your compadres from Philadelphia,
The
and
South Philly boy.
yeah, and they had who else? Ray Peters. Yeah, I said Ray Peterson. Dion, Bobby Rydell, Disco Tex, and the Sexolettes. They were even there too. You remember them from the 50s?
I sure do. And in fact, I'm still friends with him on Facebook.
Are you really? What's his
Yeah.
real name? Do you,
Um,
or does he
uh,
even go by it?
no, he goes by his real name, and I can't remember his real name right now. You know, I am 80 years old now.
Uh huh. All right, and then after you did your gig at the Front Page, then about 20 years went away, and all of a sudden we were doing those concerts under the tent out by the lake in the springtime. We did them for 6 years, and for two of those years, you guys, Danny and the Juniors, came back to do the whole weekend, and I got to MC you and spend a lot of time with you in the bus in the back too. We had some good chats and some good cold ones and everything. We had a good time.
Yeah, that was, once you guys got casinos, we started going back to New Orleans again. Thank
Oh
goodness.
yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sure your visits were fun between Alan Yeager and Billy Grishaw. You know, poor soul, rest in peace. But I guarantee you, y'all must have had a good time. I never had the opportunity to meet Billy Grisham, but Grishaw. I mispronounced his name. But from what I hear, man, he was quite a New Orleans character, huh?
He was you know, like to have Broadway characters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if you know it or not, but there is such a thing as a New Orleans character, and he was one of them. And Frankie Ford was
Oh,
another one.
oh yeah. Oh, seems like just about everybody you meet's one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Now Jimmy Clanton, he's a little different. He's not quite that New Orleans character type since he became a preacher.
yeah, yeah, and he's from uh,
From Baton Rouge.
from Baton Rouge, yeah,
Yeah.
and now he lives up by you.
Yeah, he lives not far from me. He's a neighbor of my granddaughter goes to college uh, up at Millersville University, and he lives about half a mile away.
Hmm. Yeah, Frankie Ford, he was a close friend of me and all the DJs. Really, he would come up to the station and just come into the studio, and all of a sudden we'd be doing an instant interview with Frankie Ford and playing
Oh,
all of his songs and everything. He was a character, a good guy.
he was, and funny. I mean, he was the kind of guy that just kept you laughing all the time.
Yeah. I see him every now and then on those TV shows on PBS when they have the telethons and they show all the old doo wop acts. Did y'all ever do one?
Yeah, we did one, but the one we did, they decided that not enough people were buying the videos and the albums.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of showing a full performance, they would only show a piece of it. And, and then they'd say, if you want to see the full thing,
You
get
got to
the
buy it.
video. So as it turned out, it was a very unpopular show. and no, and they stopped playing it. But we did do it.
Yeah, those are some good shows, but uh, you have to look at the year it came out at the end of the show, and you say, "Oh my God, that show's 20 years old." And look at all those people, and a lot of them aren't here anymore.
That's the truth. You know, I so many of the people that I worked with in this business are gone, but they're not forgotten because they'll never be off TV with that show.
Oh, by the way, we're going to have a few comments or questions or whatever from people on Facebook tonight, like Patricia Brennan. She says, Billy Grishaw, aka Sweet William. Yeah, she was listening to our conversation. She just wanted to check in with that.
I'd like to let him know he was one of our great pals down there in New Orleans,
Oh yeah.
along with Bob.
It, yeah, one of the forever musicians by the name of Glenn May. How you doing, Glenn? He said to remind you of the Godfather and the Quarter Note. Yeah.
Yeah, they were down there in Fat City too.
Hmm. Yes, they were. Yeah, I remember uh, after one of your gigs at the Treasure Fest on Friday night, y'all invited me to come over to eating some crawfish right behind the Quarter Note on Saturday afternoon. And I went over there and joined y'all, and I guess I thought y'all must have known the owner or something because he had a big old pot of crawfish for you guys.
Ain't nothing like a crawfish boil. People up here don't know anything about that.
All
I
right.
watched them do that. I watched them throw the garlic in, throw the corn in, throw the
Oh.
potatoes in, throw the cornfish in. It's something to see.
I'm going to have to send you some as soon as the season comes in. I'll have to mail you some overnight, Federal Express or whatever, however they ship crawfish.
And the people up here don't know that they down there they call them mud bugs.
Yeah, and crawdads. Oh Lord! So back to the beginning now. When you guys were just getting started, let's see, we had the four freshmen, and we had Anthony and the sophomores, and then eventually we had Danny and the juniors. but nobody wanted to be the seniors. Have you ever heard of a group called the Seniors?
No, I have not. But we turned into the seniors anyway.
Yeah, well, we'd probably have to call Mick Jagger Mick and the Seniors nowadays, I imagine. So, back to the beginning of Danny and the Juniors. Now, who were the original members and where did y'all meet?
Well, the original guys were David White, Danny Rapp, Joe Terry, and me, Frank Maffei, and we all were hung on a corner in Southwest Philly. And it just so happened that the three of us were in high school, and Danny was in junior high school. But we would get together on a corner, and we weren't singers at all. But Dave was in the choir. He knew a little bit about harmony. So he gathered us around one night and said, you know, we could sing. We could sing just like Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. We could.
Mhm.
I said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "I never sang in my life."
I wanted to ask you about that. The way the story goes is that doo-wop groups all were friends and they would all get together on the corners at night and start to sing in harmony and everything, and that's how they all got their starts. Was that just an urban myth?
No, that's exactly how it happened with most people I know. But anyway, Dave, he knew a little bit about harmony. He started to teach us. He would sing our part for us. You sing this, oh, you sing that, oh, and so sounded pretty bad in the beginning, believe me. And so we practiced, and then finally, when we heard all the voices together singing the notes, forming a chord, then we were hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, that sounds good. It really didn't sound that good, believe me. But we practice almost every night.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, we started sounding pretty decent. I mean, not great, but
well, great enough. That got you some good places.
So we just kept doing that, and we had Dave's mother had a boyfriend who was one of the wise guys in Philly, and he knew everybody. He knew all the restaurant owners, the bar owners in South Philadelphia, and he would take us around on the weekends, and we would sing a couple of songs in these restaurants and bars, and people would pass the hat, People would put money in the hat, and we ended up like making on a weekend maybe $20, and we were only 15 and 16 at the time.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So that was pretty good. We said, "Wow, $20! Never had this much money in my life."
So go ahead.
Yeah, we kept doing that for like a year or so, and then we just kept on practicing. And then one night we were practicing on one of these corners that we practiced on, because we didn't want to bother the people in one spot too much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so we were singing under this guy's window, and he hollers out, "Hey, shut up! My baby's stupid."
That's a hell of a thing.
So turned out that the same guy the next day came looking for us because he was a singer himself, and he had a contract with Capitol Records. And so he took us to his vocal coach, and his vocal coach said, "Gee, you guys are pretty decent." He says, "I'll give you some lessons." So he taught us how to breathe and made us practice scales and stuff like that. And he decided that he was going to record us. And so he did. But when he first recorded this, we recorded a song called "Do the Bop." But this other singer who had discovered this, his name was Johnny Madera. He sang the lead on "Do the Bop," and we thought we were going to do it, but we were disappointed. But we went along with it. So he took that record, "Do the Bop," to his record company, Capitol Prep Records, which is a subsidiary of Capitol, and they didn't like it. So he said, "Well, that's all right. I'll record it with you." So we went in the next week, and we recorded "Do the Bop" with Danny singing the lead. Well, then this producer took that demo to Dick Clark and showed it to him and said, "Look, I got this record here. Do you think you could play this? It's called "Do the Bop." And he said, "If you play it, I'll give you half the publishing."
Oh,
Now
Lord.
that was not illegal in those days.
Mm-hmm.
You go back far enough to know that at that time it was okay for a disc jockey to have an interest in a record. It wasn't illegal. So Dick Clark told him, "Look, I know that bop is a popular dance, but it's going out of style kind of quick." And he said, "You know, all these disc jockeys are having record hops. Remember those, Bob?"
Oh, yeah, very much.
Yeah. So he said, "If you could change the lyric there somehow and write a song about a record hop, you know, what goes on at a record hop, and maybe call it At the Hop, it might be a good idea." So that's what we did. We went into the studio again, changed it from "Do the Bop," "At the Hop." It was about the same kind of lyrics, except instead of saying "Do the Bop," we said "At the Hop."
Whatever works. So Dick Clark changed the name of your record, and he also changed the name of your group, huh? What was the original name of your group?
Actually, it wasn't. He didn't change it. Original name was the Juvenaires, which I really liked. I thought it sounded cool. But Dick, Artie, who was Artie Singer, who was our producer, decided that it sounded too much like juvenile delinquent. So he decided, "Why don't you call yourself Danny and the Juniors?" And I didn't like the idea that much. And Dave didn't like it. Joe didn't mind it. Danny loved it. So we all kind of went along with it and said, okay, because we never thought it was going to be a hit. I mean, let's face it, 4 kids from Philly, young, 16 and 17 years old. How are we going to have a hit record?
Well, you did. Let me ask you this. Now, you guys were going to the recording studio after school, weren't you?
Well, yes, we were. After school, and Danny was still in junior high. So, yeah,
so you
sometimes
had to be, go ahead.
Sometimes we did it at night, way after school, but sometimes we take a day off.
Yeah, sometimes, yes, indeed. You had to be, what, 18 years old, and Joe Terry and Danny Rapp were 16 years old when when you recorded At the Hop. And I was just wondering, with those ages, of course, you had been in music. You had your own group since 1955, and we're talking about 1957. So you had only been in the business for about 2 years. And when you first got started and all this started to happen to you, did you ever go home from school and watch American Bandstand and say, wow, maybe one day we can be on there?
Well, actually, I used to go home from school, watch American Bandstand, and say, "I'll never get on there."
And that was a local show for you on what, WFIL, I believe?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was a local show, and then it became a national show somewhere, maybe August, September of '57. I'm not quite sure when it became national, but we still had the local portion too. We had the first hour was a local show,
Mm-hmm.
and the network picked it up after that. And first many times that we appeared on it, we only appeared on the local portion. Nobody, they didn't think that we should be on the national portion.
You fooled them.
So, you know, one day, they say it was Little Anthony Imperials couldn't make it and canceled out. So we lived like 10 minutes away from the studio. So Dick Clark called our manager and said, "Can you get them over here? I want to put them on the national portion." And he said, "Yeah." So we scooted on over there, and we got on the national portion, and the phones lit up because we were cute in those days, not like now.
Oh, Lord. I can tell you a humorous story about American Bandstand and what Dick Clark did. Uh, they were well established here, but one of the local stations decided that they were going to put on a daily dance show up against American Bandstand on the other channel. And they got one of the disc jockeys, a guy named Larry Reagan. And American Bandstand had previously been from like 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. here. But Larry's show, they scheduled it to be from 4:30 to 5:30, 4:30 till 5 o'clock. So that would shave off the second half of American Bandstand. So Dick Clark heard about it, and he wasn't too happy about it. So one day, right before his break at the half hour point, he said, "Okay, coming up in the next half hour, we're going to have Sam Cooke. We're going to have Ray Charles and Dion and Danny and the Juniors and a whole lot more. And you'll see all of them except for you people in New Orleans."
Really?
So that's my story about Dick Clark, and now he got even with Larry Regan. Poor Larry, he was just trying to struggle to have a decent little show. But anyway,
Well, there
it,
were a lot of bandstand style shows in different cities around the country. We did a bunch of them. Um, I'm not sure that they went head to head with Dick Clark, but I know there was a lot of them. Washington, Baltimore, Cleveland.
yeah, but
And
did they go up against him at the same time as
I'm
competition?
not really sure, to tell you the truth. You know, Clay Cole had one in New York. And no, but that was a powerful show. It really was. It really brought rock and roll right across this country. Before that, rock and roll was fragmented.
How many
And,
times did Danny and the Juniors appear on American Bandstand?
well,
About.
Luke Klein, who was the producer of the show, and he passed away not long ago, but we were friends with him till to the end. And he told us that we did it 105 times because he had a
A
lot.
105 times
Yeah, but
American
some of
Bandstand.
we did
Wow.
a lot of them were a lot of, in the beginning. Maybe 30 of them were local portion where nobody saw us except the people around Philly.
Well, American Bandstand, from what I found out, they did 3,000 shows, 3,000 episodes in 37 seasons. So And
Yeah,
you did,
I mean,
100+ appearances.
yeah. Well, then, he did a lot of them in California after he moved out from Philadelphia, uh, and I never really took to that show because the kids seemed like they were trying too hard in California. Like hogging the camera and all that. But the kids here, they were just dancing.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't understand why people would tune in and watch a bunch of kids dance, but they did.
Yeah, they did. Well, that's how the young girls learned all the new dances. In fact, one of them was the calypso, which a lot of people seem to not remember the calypso, but you guys mention it in At the Hop. You calypso and your chicken at the hop.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's not calypso with your chicken. The original lyric, the right lyric is you calypso and your chicken. And the chicken was another dance back then.
Hmm. What made the calypso so different from the cha-cha? Or are you a dancer?
I'm not an expert dance person, but it looked the same to me.
It looked the same to me too, from what I've been able to see. So anyway, when y'all were singing your songs, did you ever catch Dick Clark singing along with you, or dancing like he used to do? Sometimes when people would be singing their song, the camera would just go to him for a couple of seconds, and he'd be dancing or he'd be singing along with them.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I don't recall him ever doing that to us. But he treated us well all over the years, and even after he stopped doing the show, when he did shows around the country, he would always hire us. We'd be part of his show, and he did a lot of the amusement parks, did many of the casinos in Reno, Las Vegas, and he would always use us. And some people say that you didn't get paid on the Dick Clark show on Bandstand, but we always got a check. It was for between the four of us, it was $776, which I remember that's because so close to 1776.
That's a hell of a lot better than what Lawrence Welk paid to the people on his show.
Well, I'm not familiar with Lawrence Welk's show, but I mean, I am familiar with the show and I like the show, but you mean he paid people less than that? They didn't get scale. That was scale.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he went around the scale. But anyway, that's for another day. So you guys were stars all of a sudden, and playing in all those big all-star shows. In fact, you have a picture of the marquee of one of them on your page, someplace in New York, I think, and Fats Domino is one of the. Tell us about those. Some of the groups you performed with on those shows. That must have been fun.
Well, I'll tell you, Alan Freed, he was a genius at getting you to work cheap, and he gave once Fats got good money, but he knew that our record was going up the charts and going to be number one. So he hired us for his Christmas Jubilee, which is that marquee is from that. And he hired us way ahead of time, and he hired us for $800 a week between the four of us.
Wow.
Then we out of that 800, we had to pay our manager 10%, the agency 10%. We had to buy our own rooms at the Forest Hotel. That was $8 a night.
It's a wonder you had any money for the hot dog wagon out in front of the theater.
Well, we used to eat at Horn and Hardhart's cafeteria because you could get like a whole meal there for $2 in those days.
So,
But
yeah, go ahead.
after that, he paid us a little better than that. He took us out on a 44-day tour with that same group of people: Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, Everly Brothers, Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, just imagine that bill. He took us out with all those guys, and he paid us $3,500 a week. You know, I guess people that have hit records today would say, "Man, that's all you guys make." But we didn't make a lot of money then.
I loved what you were doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you were touring then all of a sudden on the tour buses. Got any stories about those tour buses, huh?
Well, up on my site, you'll see there's a shot up there. It's me on the bus and Jerry Allison from the Crickets and Judy Shepard from the Shepard Sisters. And you see Buddy Holly sitting there very quietly. And I'm taking my bag off the bus in this shot. It's on my Facebook page if anyone wants to look at it. And I'm looking at Buddy Holly, and he's sitting there so quiet. And every time I saw him sitting like that, I said, "This guy's thinking up another song. I know it."
Yeah. I've seen that picture, and you're right. Yeah, he's just totally unaware of what's going on around him. He must have been all business. Although he had fun, I'm sure he had a great business mind.
He was a quiet guy, but he was always thinking. You could see he was thinking, and he was not a man of a lot of words. He really wasn't. Every once in a while, yes. But Jerry Lee Lewis, he was a piece of work. He was a lot of fun to be on the road with. He liked to party. Fats, we didn't see that much of Fats. He said, "See you later." He'd be gone. I don't know where he went. Well, the Everly Brothers was always fun. But they didn't get along that well, the two boys.
No?
They used to fight a lot. They weren't twins. Two siblings, one older, one younger. That happens.
The Everleys?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens in every family, I think, every now and then. But anyway, see if you remember this one when you were touring in 1961. The station I was going to work at in later years, WTIX, they used to have appreciation night at Pontchartrain Beach. And Danny and the Juniors were there, and the layout was you were on the beach stage that was actually on the beach facing the midway, and behind you was the Lake Pontchartrain, and it was a great venue, really. It was packed that night. I was there. I was a young kid, and I was in the audience and saw you guys. But anyway, see if you remember this. It was Danny and the Juniors, and it was also Del Shannon, Tony Orlando, Dick and Dee Dee, Barry Mann, Ray Stevens, Janie Grant, Eddie Rambo, Jerry Granahan, and you know who the band leader was? Mac Rebenak. And you know who he was in later years?
Yeah, Dr.
John.
Dr. John.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. You're with us at Pontchartrain Beach.
I remember that well. That was a great amusement park. It really was. I guess it's not there anymore, is it?
No, it's all gone, but we got memories of it. That was August 31st, 1961. See? So anyway, let's see. And down the line a little bit, let's see. There was a disco version of At the Hop sometime in the 70s. I've never heard that, so I can't really comment about it. But what do you think about
Terrible.
it? Okay. Well, then.
I hated disco. Disco almost put us out of business because everybody was going to the disco clubs and said, forget about the oldies.
Uh-huh.
But then it kind of put us back in business because all these places that were doing disco, they decided, well, maybe we could do an oldies night like on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So they started doing that. We started working a lot of those places. So that was part of the resurgence of oldies in the 80s.
Yeah. Just when Danny Rapp wasn't with the group anymore, you just reorganized and kept on going. And you've been with it now for 65 years.
That long.
Well, if you go back to your first group name.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, I have been. It's a long time. It's a long time. And, I've been like retired since my partner, Joe Terry, passed away a year ago.
Yeah.
And I get promoters and agents asking me to come out again and work. But at this point, I'm saying, well, I'm the only one left. I think I should just hang out at home.
Yeah, but if you have the opportunity, why not keep it going?
I might. I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm telling you, I get calls almost every day from different people. What are you doing now? Well, I said, I'm in the garden.
Yeah,
Is that a song?
Well, if they call you, I certainly hope that Danny and the Juniors continue because, God, that's an iconic group, and you're an iconic member of it.
Yeah. Well, toward the end, it was Joe and me and my brother Bobby. And my brother Bobby's still around, still sings. So I don't know. I might put it back together with another third person, and I might as well make a few dollars, I guess.
Sure, why not? They'd be glad to see you again too. Audiences would appreciate you. So hopefully we'll see you at a casino or some other venue before too long.
Yeah, it has to be before too long. I'm 80 years old now.
Well, Frank, I want to thank you for making rock and roll here to stay, and everything you've done and all the years you put into it and all the fun you gave us and everything. And so many young ladies I had one on Facebook who said that At the Hop was the first song she ever danced to, a fast dance, and she learned how to jitterbug with At the Hop. So there you go.
Well, you just tell her that it was my pleasure to get her started.
And you can keep the memories going too. So if you get a chance, I hope you take it.
All right. Thank you, Bob, for having me on, and thank you for keeping this music alive too by playing it.
Well, we're trying. Thank you very much for being here with us tonight, and we'll see you again. Hopefully next time down here, and we can have some crawfish together.
Oh, yeah. And now, if you need me, just call me, Bob.
All right, Frank. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.